They call it coincidence when it happens to everyone else, but when it starts circling you, when patterns tighten and silence gets heavy, when the air feels like it's holding its breath, that's when the word chosen stops sounding poetic and starts sounding dangerous. Because being chosen isn't comfort, it's pressure. It's being singled out when you didn't ask to be. It's carrying weight before you're told what it's for. And when the Lord says something big is coming, it's never whispered to make you feel safe. It's spoken to see if you'll flinch being. Chosen doesn't feel like a gift at first. It feels like someone flipped the lights on in a room you didn't even know was empty and then told you, you're in charge of this chaos now. It isn't warm. It isn't comfortable. It isn't applause and celebration. It's pressure, constant, invisible, and unrelenting. The universe, or the Lord, if you want to call it that, doesn't crown the chosen with ease. It crowns them with responsibility, and responsibility has teeth. Most people hear the word chosen and imagine privilege. They imagine attention, admiration, recognition without consequence. They imagine doors opening without any of the work, without any of the silent preparation. But being chosen isn't about the moment you're celebrated. It's about the invisible hours you survived alone, the nights you wrestled with doubt, the mornings you pushed yourself out of bed to do the work no one will notice. Chosen is invisible before it's visible. The first thing you learn is that being chosen isolates you. It's subtle at first. Friends drift away because they don't understand your pace. Conversations feel shallow because no one else has been touched by the same pressure. The loneliness isn't cruel, it's necessary. The chosen are forced to hear themselves when no one else is listening, to test their limits in silence, to learn whether they'll stand when nothing is cheering them on. That silence is heavy, and most people avoid it because it's louder than noise, louder than distraction, louder than every validation they've been chasing. Responsibility is the second lesson. Being chosen means that someone saw potential before you did. And potential is heavy because it demands proof. The Lord doesn't choose to comfort you, He chooses to stretch you. He doesn't announce favor to flatter your ego, He does it to see if you can carry it. Every trial you've faced, every setback you've endured, every fear you've survived is part of a pattern testing whether you're ready for what's coming. The chosen are not celebrated before they are prepared. Pressure is constant, and it's deceptive. People around you may think you're favored, that life is easier for you now. They don't see the tension inside you, the uncertainty, the doubts you fight silently. Being chosen magnifies flaws. It exposes weaknesses. It forces confrontation with parts of yourself you've been ignoring. The good news is coming, yes, but the preparation for it doesn't include comfort. It includes scrutiny of your habits, your thoughts, your integrity, your patience. The inside matters far more than the outside, because when the announcement arrives, the outside won't carry you. Time before the favor is a testing ground. Days stretch long and heavy because nothing seems to move, because the universe is holding back the applause to see whether you'll break or bend. Patience becomes sharper than ambition. Discipline becomes more real than desire. The chosen learn that waiting isn't punishment, it's revelation. Waiting forces you to confront whether you are doing the work, maintaining the character, and preserving the faith required to receive what's meant for you. The chosen also realize that favor attracts attention, and attention is dangerous. People who have been ignored for too long suddenly notice. They offer advice, critique, envy, manipulation. Some want a share of what's coming, some want to derail it, some want to claim it as their own. The chosen must learn to walk carefully, to move with precision, to trust only what can be tested and proven. Favor doesn't just arrive, it tests who is prepared to handle it and who is not. Character becomes the currency. The inside matters infinitely more than the outside. You can have preparation without integrity, and it collapses at first pressure. You can have opportunity without wisdom, and it backfires. You can have faith without patience, and it burns out before the blessing even touches you. Being chosen means every flaw is magnified, every strength is sharpened, every decision counts, because someone is watching, not to reward, but to see if you're capable of carrying what's coming. Being chosen is terrifying because it removes comfort, it removes excuses, it removes the illusion of control. It asks whether you can stand when nothing else supports you. It asks whether you can carry weight before you fully understand what it is. And it asks whether, when the big good news arrives, you will bend under expectation or rise to the level of the calling. It's not about luck, it's about proof. It's not about being ready to receive, it's about being ready to endure, to act, to transform, to hold the responsibility that accompanies what has been promised. Silence is the first test. The chosen often think they've been forgotten, ignored, abandoned. Days stretch endlessly, nights feel longer than they should. The world doesn't rush to celebrate the chosen, it doesn't announce their arrival with fanfare, it doesn't give permission to feel special. Silence presses, weighs, isolates, and in that silence, character is revealed. You discover what you're made of when no one is watching, when no one cares, when the world is indifferent to your struggle and you are left with only yourself. People fear silence because it forces confrontation, it forces honesty. It strips away excuses and reveals what's been hidden beneath the noise of attention, distraction, and comfort. The chosen spend more time in silence than anyone else, not because they wanted it, but because silence is where preparation hides. The tests are quiet, subtle, invisible. The lessons are not delivered with applause, they arrive in the absence of anything else. And the weight of that absence is heavy, heavier than any external pressure. The world is loud, and silence is louder. When you are chosen, the absence of recognition is not neglect, it is calibration. Every unanswered question, every delay, every moment of seeming inaction is a test to see if you can maintain steadiness, if you can sustain faith, if you can endure without validation. Most people fail this test without knowing it because they seek external signals. The chosen must learn to measure themselves against internal standards, against invisible benchmarks, against the quiet demands of destiny. Isolation comes with silence, and it is both a punishment and a privilege. People drift away, relationships falter, distractions disappear, and suddenly you are alone with your thoughts, your doubts, your fears. But that is where the chosen are forged. It is in the loneliness that strength is built, in the absence of applause that patience is cultivated, in the confrontation with self that resilience is sharpened. You are being refined in ways that cannot be rushed, cannot be outsourced, cannot be ignored. Every moment in silence is an opportunity and a threat. You can choose to shrink into despair, to question your worth, to let fear dictate action, or you can choose to observe yourself, to confront every weakness, to refine every habit, to prepare quietly for what has been promised. The chosen learn to move in silence, to think in silence, to plan in silence, to grow when no one else sees. Silence is not empty. It is full of tests that most people miss because they are too busy listening to noise, chasing applause, or avoiding discomfort. Waiting becomes a weapon in the hands of silence. The chosen wait for alignment, for clarity, for the moment when preparation meets opportunity. That waiting is not idle, it is active, intentional, disciplined. Every day of seeming inactivity is a chance to sharpen skills, strengthen character, expand understanding, and confront the parts of self that are weak, lazy, or dishonest. Silence allows this work to accumulate without distraction or interruption, creating an unseen reservoir of power that will eventually reveal itself. Patience is learned in silence. not the kind taught in books or preached in sermons, but the kind that burns quietly inside while the world moves, distracts, and demands immediate results. Patience that survives boredom, doubt, fear, and uncertainty is the kind that carries the chosen through moments when everything external seems stagnant or indifferent. Patience is not passive, it is persistent. It is endurance without applause, without acknowledgement, without reassurance. The chosen also learn observation in silence. Every subtle shift in thought, every quiet reflection, every unnoticed decision is recorded and tested. Silence teaches attentiveness. It forces awareness of what others miss. It forces noticing patterns in self, in circumstance, in timing. Observation in quiet builds discernment, intuition, and the ability to act decisively when the big good news finally arrives. The chosen are not blind to opportunity, they have trained themselves to see it in advance. Silence is dangerous too. It reveals weakness as brutally as it reveals strength. The chosen confront fear, doubt, impatience, and temptation alone. No one steps in to soothe, correct, or rescue. Silence exposes whether faith is real, whether courage is authentic, whether endurance is true. Most crumble under this weight. The chosen survive because they realize silence is not absence, it is preparation. It is the unseen training ground that ensures when favor arrives, they can carry it without breaking, without flinching, without needing applause to validate their worth. And so silence becomes a companion, a teacher, a crucible. It is heavy, uncomfortable, relentless, and inescapable. Yet it is where the chosen learn to stand when nothing else supports them, to act when nothing else instructs them, to trust when nothing else reassures them. Silence is the invisible arena where readiness is built, and readiness is what distinguishes those who will rise to the promise from those who will collapse under expectation. Pressure doesn't arrive politely. It doesn't knock. It doesn't announce itself. It just lands, sudden, heavy, and undeniable. People panic under pressure because they've spent their lives avoiding it. They've built routines, excuses, distractions, and comfort zones, all carefully crafted to delay confrontation with what really matters. But when the Lord says big good news is coming, pressure becomes unavoidable, and the chosen are tested in ways the unprepared cannot imagine. Pressure is a mirror. It reflects every weakness, every doubt, every habit ignored. It doesn't care about intent or promises or dreams. It only reveals whether the foundation beneath your life is solid enough to hold what is coming. Most crumble because they thought intention alone was enough. They thought faith could exist without discipline, courage could exist without preparation, patience could exist without endurance. Pressure doesn't negotiate with illusions. Being chosen intensifies pressure because expectations are invisible but absolute. You aren't just carrying your own future, you are carrying the potential someone else, someone infinitely more observant than the world itself, has entrusted to you. The weight is silent, but it presses constantly. Every choice, every hesitation, every lapse in focus compounds, and you feel it even when no one else does. The pressure is intimate because it knows exactly where you are weak. The first thing pressure does is strip comfort away. Habits that worked in ease crumble under demand. Routines that were reliable become insufficient. People who were safe to lean on drift or disappoint. Pressure doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't forgive delay. It doesn't wait for timing to feel right. It forces action and exposes reality. The chosen quickly realize that their preparation matters infinitely more than their intentions or their reputation. Pressure is also a teacher, brutal, honest, unrelenting. It forces you to discover what is real in yourself, courage or fear, discipline or distraction, patience or impatience, integrity or compromise. Pressure does not ask, it reveals. Every decision, every reaction, every moment of resistance or surrender leaves a mark, and those marks are visible to the world later, long after the initial test has PAs. Said, shaping how you carry the big good news when it arrives. Isolation amplifies pressure. Being chosen often means walking alone, being misunderstood, or being ignored by those who cannot grasp the responsibility you've been given. The silence of solitude is part of the design. It sharpens you. It forces focus. It removes crutches. No one can prepare you for pressure except pressure itself, and the chosen discover that the absence of reassurance is the only thing that cultivates true resilience. Fear sits alongside pressure, constant, persistent, whispering lies about inadequacy and failure. It doesn't always shout. Most of the time it is quiet, creeping, insidious. The chosen must learn to move in spite of fear, to trust even when uncertainty dominates, to act even when the outcome is unknown. That trust is not blind. It is forged through repeated confrontation with pressure until courage becomes instinct and endurance becomes habit. Pressure also sharpens discernment. Every choice, every interaction, every step is magnified. The chosen must decide what to engage with and what to ignore. Distractions become dangerous because they waste energy. Misplaced trust becomes costly because it destabilizes focus. Pressure teaches the value of precision, the necessity of prioritizing what truly matters, the difference between noise and signal. The ability to act decisively when favor arrives is built in these moments of relentless testing. Growth under pressure is painful because it exposes flaws before it rewards effort. Every weakness is a lever for learning. Every mistake is a magnifying glass for correction. Every uncomfortable moment is a lesson in endurance. The chosen must embrace that pain not as punishment, but as proof that preparation is working. Favor without pressure produces nothing. Pressure transforms readiness into capability, faith into action, hope into art. A cruel brilliance of pressure is that it is impartial. It does not reward intent, popularity, or cleverness. It rewards preparation, resilience, patience, and clarity. It magnifies character or exposes emptiness. And in doing so, it ensures that when the big good news arrives, it lands in capable hands. The chosen do not stumble because they are invincible. They stand because they have been tempered, honed, and tested by pressure that would have broken anyone else. Pressure is relentless because life itself is relentless. The world does not pause for the timid, the distracted, the unprepared. The chosen discover that pressure is a constant companion until the moment favor arrives, and that companion is merciless in its lessons, invisible in its timing, and absolute in its power. Those who survive it do not simply receive the news. They carry it, embody it, and wield it with the strength earned in silence. Solitude, an unrelenting challenge expectation is heavier than any weight you can see. Being chosen doesn't just mean opportunity. It means someone is watching to see if you can handle the responsibility before you even know what it is. The Lord's announcements are not confetti. They are tests. They are calibrations of your readiness, invisible to everyone else, relentless in their demand. You are measured not by what you hope for, but by what you can sustain under the strain of being noticed. People misunderstand expectation. They think it comes from applause, recognition, or validation. They think it's external pressure applied to manipulate or control. But real expectation, the kind that comes with being chosen, is internalized before it is visible. It lives in the corners of your mind when you are alone, in the decisions no one observes, in the subtle calculations you make every time a choice presents itself. It tests whether you can act when consequences A, rehidden and reward is uncertain. Expectation magnifies weakness. Every hesitation, every slip in judgment, every moment of procrastination is amplified because someone is keeping count, not to punish, but to reveal whether you can carry what's coming. The chosen quickly realize that their own doubts are more dangerous than any external threat. Fear is a magnifying lens, scrutiny without applause, pressure without recognition. And in this quiet crucible, character is forged or fractured depending on how honestly you confront your flaws. The chosen are trained by expectation to observe themselves more than the world. Every habit, every thought pattern, every response is a marker of readiness. If you cultivate patience, it manifests under trial. If you cultivate discipline, it surfaces when everything else fails. If you cultivate focus, it guides decisions when chaos appears. Expectation is a mirror you cannot avoid, reflecting what is authentic and exposing what is hollow. Loneliness becomes a companion under expectation. People do not follow your preparation, they do not witness your readiness, they do not understand the invisible work required. Friends drift, critics grow louder, noise surrounds you. But inside, expectation is your measure. It does not comfort, it does not flatter, it does not negotiate. It asks the same question over and over. Can you hold yourself accountable when no one else will? Can you maintain the standard that has been set for you before the blessing even touches your life? Expectation forces clarity. It strips away illusions, shows what is necessary, and removes everything that is superfluous. If you were relying on luck, charm, or borrowed confidence, expectation exposes that. If you relied on external reassurance, it disappears. Only what you've built internally, discipline, courage, patience, integrity, remains reliable. Expectation teach us that the outside world is irrelevant, when what matters is what you carry in silence, in solitude, in preparation. The burden of being watched, even invisibly, shapes choices. The chosen learn to prioritize. They learn to act decisively. They learn to engage with what is essential and ignore what is distracting. Every thought, every action, every plan is weighed against an unseen standard. And failure is instructive. Every mistake reveals a gap between preparation and responsibility. Every success reveals the small steps that made it possible. Expectation is a teacher whose lessons are relentless and often invisible. Expectation cultivates resilience. It teaches endurance without applause. It teaches strength without recognition. It teaches focus without distraction. The chosen learn that patience under anticipation is more valuable than speed under excitement. They learn that consistency under pressure matters more than brilliance under observation. They discover that readiness is not measured by how quickly you act, but by how reliably you sustain yourself when the world is silent, indifferent, and demanding. Faith and action are inseparable under expectation. You cannot wait for the blessing without moving toward it. You cannot pray without preparation. Expectation demands alignment between belief and effort. It tests whether your internal development matches the magnitude of what is promised. Every day spent idle, distracted, or avoiding challenge weakens your capacity to carry the good news when it arrives. Expectation reveals that preparation is not optional. It is inevitable. Ultimately, expectation shapes identity. The chosen discover that who they are under pressure, silence, and observation is more real than the persona presented to others. The weight of unseen scrutiny forces honesty, forces growth, forces confrontation with weakness. When the announcement comes, when the Lord delivers the big good news, the chosen are not defined by luck or favor alone. They are defined by whether expectation has carved them into someone capable of carrying, sustaining, and embodying what has been entrusted to them. Faith is a living thing. Most people think of it as a concept, a comfort, a hope whispered in the dark when things feel heavy. But real faith, the kind the chosen carry, is relentless, stubborn, and demanding. It is tested not when life is easy, but when life refuses to bend to expectation, when delays stretch on, when silence presses like a weight you cannot shake. Faith in these moments is not optional, it is survival, it is endurance. It is the quiet engine that will carry the big good news when it finally arrives. The chosen discover that faith is not a feeling, it is a muscle trained in discomfort. It grows in the gaps between expectation and realization, in the quiet hours where nothing seems to happen, in the repetitive acts of doing what must be done, even when there is no applause, no verification, no certainty. That is the crucible where faith becomes functional. Without it, preparation is wasted. You ever notice how people love to take? Oh, they take and take and take, and they never stop to wonder if there's anything left of you when they're done. It's funny, isn't it? How they expect you to be there, always ready, always giving, always sacrificing. As if it's your job to make sure they have what they need. They smile, they nod, they thank you sometimes. But the second you say no, the second you stop bending over backward, the second you decide that maybe, just maybe, you deserve a little bit of that kindness you keep handing out, oh, that's when things get interesting. People love kindness. Oh, they adore it when it benefits them, when it makes their lives easier, when it saves them from doing the work, when it gives them an extra cushion to fall back on. They love the kind ones, the ones who never say no, the ones who always smile, always nod, always make sure everyone else is okay before even thinking about themselves. But here's the thing about people like that. They're not loved. Not really. They're used. See, people aren't drawn to kindness because they respect it. No, no. They're drawn to it because they see an opportunity. They see someone who will go out of their way to make their life smoother, easier, more comfortable. And the best part, they don't even have to ask. 'Cause the kind ones, oh, they volunteer. They don't wait for a favor to be called in. They anticipate the need before it even comes up. They make sure everything runs seamlessly, that nobody feels discomfort, that every little problem gets handled before anyone else even notices it exists. And the people around them, oh, they eat it up. They take and take and take, and they never once stop to think, what does this cost you? But that's the real joke, isn't it? Because you don't ask for anything. No, you keep giving, keep smiling, keep making excuses for why people never return the favor. Oh, they're just busy. Oh, they didn't realize I needed help. Oh, that's just how they are. You tell yourself that one day they'll notice, that one day someone will step in and do the same for you. That one day all the kindness you poured into everyone else will come back around. But days turn into years, and that day, it never comes. Because people don't remember kindness, they just expect it. They get used to it. Like breathing air, like flipping a light switch, like having the sun rise in the morning, it's just there. They don't stop to appreciate it. They don't wonder how much effort it takes. They don't think about what happens when it's gone. Because to them, it's just a given. Of course you'll be there. Of course you'll help. Of course you'll put everyone else first. It's not special to them. It's just who you are. And the best part, the second you don't show up, the second you do say no, the second you even hesitate before throwing yourself into another act of self-sacrifice, that's when you see it. The little flicker of annoyance, the subtle shift in their tone, the way they suddenly start making you feel guilty, like you've done something wrong. Oh, you're not being yourself lately. Oh, what's gotten into you? Oh, you used to be so helpful. Because that's what you were to them. Helpful. Not important, not valued, just useful. And the second you stop playing your part, the second your kindness isn't serving them anymore, that's when the love disappears. Because they never loved you. They loved what you did for them. They loved the convenience. They loved how easy you made things. They loved how they could always count on you to make their problems less of a problem. But the moment you become an inconvenience, the moment your needs start to matter, that's when you see the truth. That's when you realize that for some people, kindness isn't something they appreciate, it's something they exploit. People like to pretend they care. Oh, they love to act like they appreciate you, like they value you, like you matter to them. As long as you're giving, as long as you're helping, as long as you're making their lives a little easier, that's when they smile, that's when they call you a good person. That's when they keep you close. But the second you stop, the second you decide to put yourself first, the second you tell them no, that's when the mask slips. That's when you see who they really are. It's funny, isn't it? How quickly things change. How fast the warmth disappears. How suddenly the gratitude turns into disappointment in you. Because in their eyes, it's not about all the times you said yes. It's not about the sacrifices you made. It's not about the fact that you bent over backward for them more times than you can count. No, no. It's about this time. The one time you didn't. The one time you couldn't. The one time you decided that maybe, just maybe, you were allowed to have limits too. And that's unacceptable. Because to them, you're not a person, you're a role. You're the one who says yes. You're the one who shows up. You're the one who fixes things. You don't get to have boundaries. You don't get to have needs. You don't get to be tired. That's not your job. Your job is to be there, to say yes, to give. And as long as you do that, they'll keep you around. They'll call you kind, selfless, dependable. But the second you dare to take a step back, the second you stop running to their every call, the second you say, I can't do this anymore, that's when you learn the truth. Because people don't like being told no, especially not from someone they've gotten used to controlling. And that's what it is, isn't it? Control. They don't ask, they expect. They don't appreciate, they demand. They don't see you as a person with limits, emotions, needs of your own. No, they see you as a convenience. And when that convenience stops working for them, now you're the problem. Now you've changed. Now you're being unfair. Because in their mind, you were never supposed to stop. And you see it clear as day. The way their tone shifts, the way the warmth disappears, the way the subtle guilt tripping begins. Oh, I guess I just have to do it myself now. Oh, I didn't realize you didn't care anymore. Oh, I thought I could count on you. They don't come out and say it, not directly. No, they're smarter than that. They just say enough to make you feel bad, to make you question yourself, to make you wonder, am I being selfish? Am I really a bad person? Because that's what they want. They don't want you to stand your ground. They want you to crumble. They want you to feel so guilty that you go right back to where they want you. Saying yes, doing what they need, being exactly who they expect you to be. And most of the time, it works. because you don't want to be selfish. You don't want to let anyone down. You don't want to be the bad guy. So you give in, you swallow the exhaustion, you push aside your own needs. You tell yourself, just this once, but just this once turns into every time, and before you know it, you're right back where you started. Giving, sacrificing, draining yourself dry while they take and take and take. But the thing is, the people who really care, the ones who actually value you, they don't make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They don't punish you for needing space. They don't turn cold the second you stop doing things for them, because to them you're not just useful, you're important. And the ones who get angry, the ones who make you feel bad, the ones who treat you differently just because you finally said no, well, that tells you everything you need to know. You ever notice how people don't see you as a person? Oh, sure, they pretend they do. They call you kind, generous, dependable. They act like they appreciate you, like they respect you. But what they really mean is, you're useful. You make their lives easier. You say yes when they need something. You listen when they need to vent. You bend, twist, break yourself into whatever shape they require at any given moment. And as long as you keep doing that, oh, they love you. They praise you, they call you a good person. But what happens when you stop? What happens when you say, I can't do this anymore? What happens when you finally decide that maybe, just maybe, you're allowed to put yourself first? That's when things get interesting. Because you'd think, after everything you've done, after all the times you put yourself second, after all the times you sacrificed your own comfort, your own peace, your own sanity, just to make sure they were okay, you'd think they'd understand. You'd think they'd say, hey, I get it. You've done enough. You deserve a break. But that's not what happens, is it? No. What happens is that suddenly you're the bad guy. Suddenly you're selfish. Suddenly you're not the same person anymore, because in their eyes you were never a person to begin with. You were a resource. People don't appreciate what they can take for granted. They don't stop to think about the effort you put in. They don't wonder if you're tired. They don't ask if you need help, because to them you don't need help. You don't get tired. You're always there. And when something is always there, it stops being special. It stops being noticed. It just becomes expected. Like a faucet that never stops running, like a light that never goes out, like a punching bag that never swings back. That's what you are to them, something that exists to make their life easier. And the moment you stop, the moment you close the tap, turn off the light, step out of reach, that's when they get angry. How dare you? How dare you have needs of your own? How dare you not be available when they need you? How dare you stop giving when they've gotten so comfortable with taking? And they'll try to make you feel bad about it. Oh, they'll throw every guilt trip in the book at you. Oh, I guess I just won't ask for help anymore. Oh, I didn't know you changed. Oh, I thought you were different. They don't say it directly. No, they're smarter than that. They just say enough to make you doubt yourself. Just enough to make you think, maybe I am being selfish. Maybe I should just help them one more time. And that's how they pull you back in, because that's the trick, isn't it? They never force you to do anything. No, they let you choose to sacrifice yourself. They let you decide to keep giving. And as long as it's your choice, they don't have to feel guilty. They don't have to acknowledge that they're using you. They don't have to face the fact that they never actually cared about you. They only cared about what you could do for them, because if they had to admit that, that would make them the bad guy. And nobody wants to be the bad guy. So instead, they make you feel like you're the one in the wrong. You're the one who changed. You're the one who's being unfair. Oh, you're the one ruining things. And most of the time, it works. Because you don't want to be selfish. You don't want to let anyone down. You don't want to be the bad guy. So you swallow it. You push aside the exhaustion, the resentment, the growing sense that maybe, just maybe, you're being taken advantage of. You tell yourself it's fine. Just this once. Just one more time. Just until they don't need me anymore. But they always need you. They always find a reason. And before you know it, you're right back where you started. Because the ones who truly care, they don't leave when you stop giving. They don't make you feel guilty for putting yourself first. They don't see you as a resource, as a tool, as a thing that exists to make their lives easier. They see you. And the ones who get angry, the ones who turn cold, the ones who try to guilt you into playing your part again, well, they were never really there for you to begin with. You ever notice how people don't respect you when you're too nice? Oh, they like you, sure. They love that you're always there, always helping, always making sure everyone else is comfortable. But respect? No. No, that's a different story. Because respect doesn't come from how much you give. It comes from how much you're willing to say no. See, when you're the one who's always saying yes, always smiling, always making things easier for everyone else, people don't see it as kindness. They see it as weakness. They start to assume that you have to be this way, that you can't be anything else. They don't think, oh, what a good person. No, they think, oh, I can get away with this. And they do. Because you let them. You let them push your boundaries. You let them take without giving back. You let them walk all over you because you think, well, if I'm good to them, they'll be good to me. But that's not how it works, is it? No, because people don't return favors out of the goodness of their hearts. They return them when they have to, when there's something at stake, when there's a consequence for not treating you right. But the kind ones, the ones who never ask for anything, the ones who always forgive, always overlook, always make excuses for people who mistreat them, oh, they're the easiest to use. Because they never put their foot down. They never say enough is enough. They never make anyone feel uncomfortable by demanding to be treated the way they deserve. And that's why they never get respect. Because respect doesn't come from being easy to deal with. It doesn't come from making sure everyone likes you. It doesn't come from bending over backward to keep the peace. It comes from being willing to make people uncomfortable. It comes from being able to walk away. It comes from knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. And that's what people hate. They hate when the quiet ones, the soft ones, the nice ones suddenly decide they're done playing along. They hate when the one who used to say yes suddenly says no. They hate when the one who used to put up with everything decides they won't take it anymore. Because now they have to change. Now they have to actually consider you. Now they can't just do whatever they want and expect you to go along with it. And that infuriates them. So they try to guilt you. They tell you you're different now. They tell you they don't recognize you anymore. They tell you you've become selfish, cold, mean. But what they're really saying is, I don't like that I can't control you anymore. Because that's what it was, wasn't it? Control. They got used to you being predictable. They got used to you always saying yes. They got used to you needing their approval, and the second you stop, The second you realize that their opinions don't matter as much as you thought, that's when the act drops. That's when you see how they really feel. Because the people who actually care about you, they won't punish you for setting boundaries. They won't make you feel bad for demanding respect. They won't turn on you the second you decide you're worth more than being treated like an afterthought. But the ones who do, oh, they make it so obvious. They were never really on your side to begin with. People like to talk about fairness, like there are rules. Like if you're good, if you do the right things, if you treat people well, life will return the favor. But you and I both know that's not how it works. No, no. See, the ones who play nice, the ones who always do what they're supposed to, the ones who give and give and give, they're the ones who get stepped on. They're the ones who get left behind, because the world doesn't reward kindness. It uses it. You ever notice how the more you give, the less people appreciate it? Oh, at first they love it. They smile, they thank you, they act like you matter. But the more you do, the more they expect it. And suddenly it's not kindness anymore, it's just your job. It's just who you are. And the second you stop, the second you even hesitate, that's when the problem starts. That's when they act like you're the one who changed. That's when they make you feel like you're being selfish. Because to them, you weren't being kind out of generosity. You were being kind because that was your role. People get real comfortable with you doing things for them. They don't see the effort. They don't see the nights you go without sleep, the times you push through when you have nothing left, the way you break yourself into pieces just to make sure everyone else is okay. No, they don't see that. They just see results. They see you handling it. And as long as you keep handling it, they don't care what it costs you. And that's the trick, isn't it? They make you believe that if you just keep being good, if you just keep giving, if you just keep putting yourself last, someday someone will notice. Someday you'll get the same love and care in return. But that day never comes, does it? Because the ones who take from you, they're not looking to give back. They're looking to see how much they can get. And the second you decide you've had enough, that's when they start calling you difficult. That's when they start saying you've changed. That's when they start acting like you're the bad guy, because in their minds, it's not about everything you did do. It's about the fact that you stopped. And suddenly, all those times you sacrificed, all those times you said yes when you wanted to say no, they don't matter. Because people only remember the one time you didn't give them what they wanted. And here's the funny part, the ones who take the most, the ones who drain you dry, who make you feel like you owe them something just for existing, they never think they're the problem. No, no. They think you are. They think you are for finally putting yourself first. They think you are for no longer playing the game, because to them, your kindness was never kindness. It was just expected. But the moment you stop, the moment you decide that maybe, just maybe, you deserve something too, that's when you find out who really cared about you and who just cared about what you could do for them. People love to pretend they care. They love to act like they see you, like they appreciate you, like you matter. But it's a game, a trick, a little illusion they play, not for you. Oh no, no, no. But for themselves. See, people don't actually want to know you. They want to know the version of you that's most convenient for them. They don't want the real thing, the raw thing, the messy thing. They want the easy thing, the predictable thing, the thing that makes them feel comfortable. That's why the moment you stop fitting into their little expectations, they start looking at you differently. You ever notice that? How quickly they change? How suddenly the warmth disappears the second you stop giving them what they want? One day you're the best thing that ever happened to them. So kind, so helpful, so understanding. And then, then you dare to set a boundary. You dare to say no. You dare to stop being the person they need you to be, and just like that, you become difficult. You become cold. You become selfish. And they'll never say it outright. No, they're smarter than that. They won't tell you they only liked you when you were easy. No, they'll make it seem like you changed, like you're being unfair, like you're the problem. They'll act confused, hurt even. They'll tilt their heads and say, I just don't understand what happened to you. What happened to you? Oh, you mean what happened when I stopped letting you walk all over me? What happened when I stopped bending myself into a shape that made you comfortable? What happened when I finally realized that your love, your friendship, your so-called care, it was all conditional? Because that's what it was, wasn't it? Conditional. It was never about you. It was about what you provided. It was about how you made them feel. And the second you stopped, the second you had the audacity to put yourself first, poof, the act was over, the mask slipped, and the same people who once told you they'd always be there, suddenly they're just too busy. Suddenly they need space. Suddenly they don't know if this is working anymore. Funny how that works. You see, people will tolerate you as long as you benefit them. As long as you're useful. As long as you don't ask for too much. They like when you listen to their problems. But the moment you talk about yours, they just don't have the energy for that right now. They like when you support their dreams, but when it's your turn, they go quiet. They like when you're strong for them, but when you need strength, suddenly they're nowhere to be found. And that's the truth people don't want to hear. That's the ugly little secret hiding behind all those smiles and sweet words. People don't love you. They love what you do for them. They love the way you make them feel. They love the convenience of your kindness. But the moment it stops being convenient, the moment you ask for even a fraction of what you gave, that's when you see it. That's when you see them, the real them, the one that was always there, lurking beneath the surface, waiting for the moment you stopped playing along. And that's when you realize you were never one of them. You were just a tool they used until it stopped being useful.